Joining us today is Hilary Woodley, Kimberley Regional Manager for LandCorp, who's kindly speaking at IIR's Kimberley Energy and Resources Development Conference, 3rd to 4th of May 2010 in Broome. Hello Hilary, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you.
Can you briefly explain the current issues surrounding land development in the Kimberley?
Yes, well, generally speaking, land development in the Kimberley is actually far less constrained than in other areas in the northwest, like the Pilbara. So in Broome and Kununurra, there are already native title agreements in place. And also some of the environmental issues, particularly around storm surge and storm water management, have less of an impact here than they do in the Pilbara. But having said that, individual towns in the region have their own challenges. For example, in Halls Creek, there's actually a lack of potable water, and we're currently working with a range of different stakeholders to identify new water opportunities. And also the region does have a limited construction window due to the cyclone and wet season, so that limits the time frame that we have available to construct in.
How is resources activity in the region likely to affect land supply?
Well, the activity in the region will undoubtedly increase demand for land. The big question really is, though, by how much? And recent social impact assessments undertaken by the Department of State Development show that the proposed LNG hub in Broome has a fairly small effect in terms of population growth, and that's compared to other drivers such as tourism and sea change. But what we need to do is ensure there's enough land in the pipeline to cope with any increased demand, and that's both for residential and industrial land.
How can future development pressures be planned for?
Well, we're undertaking forward planning at the moment in all the major towns in the Kimberley, and that's really the key, is to make sure that we've got land at what we call development ready stage, which means that all the necessary approvals are in place and we can simply move to the construction phase as the demand increases to the level where that's required. We're fortunate in Broome to have a very large parcel of land which we're currently planning and will be constructing very shortly, and that will enable us to respond relatively quickly to a big increase in demand, as all that land is essentially ready to go. We'll just have to construct. And the other key to planning for future developments is to have a really good understanding of what the potential drivers are when the projects are happening, and we need to work very closely with all the stakeholders in the region, from the resources activities through to local government and other government agencies, to just get a really good understanding of what's in the pipeline.
You're speaking at IIR's Kimberley Energy and Resources Development Conference on the 3rd to 4th of May 2010 in Broome. What will be the focus of your presentation? Well,
the main focus will be our new Broome North development. I'll be talking about how we planned that whole development in less than 12 months, how we achieved that, and what the future will be for land supply in Broome. But I'll also give an overview of what is planned right across the region and how we propose to keep ahead of the demand curve right across the Kimberley.
What messages do you hope delegates will take away with them from the event?
I think really it's twofold. For local stakeholders, I'd like them to get a really detailed understanding of what's happening behind the scenes to ensure that all that planning is in place and land is development ready and ready to go to be constructed when we need it. And for the resources-based delegates, it would be great to give them an understanding of the land approvals process, the time it takes to deliver significant amounts of land, and also to understand the importance of talking to government agencies, including us, early in the project, so we can share as much information as possible on what's required in terms of their land requirements, and to make sure we can have that land ready to go when they need it.
Hilary Woodley, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.